Former #1 draft pick and All-American at Ohio State, Shawn Springs played for the NFL for 13 seasons. He knows Flores and he knows football very well. Shawn joins me now. Shawn, good to see you.
Hey, good to see you, Kier. How you doing?
All right. First of all, your overall reaction to the lawsuit, Shawn.
Well, I'm not surprised. Brian's a great guy, and it's unfortunate that we come to the point where a coach is suing the NFL for discrimination, but it's not surprising, being that 70%, like he said in the interview, 70% of the NFL is African-American, and yet there's only one head coach. So it doesn't surprise me, and I'm actually shocked that it hasn't happened before.
So does Flores have street cred as a coach? I know you know him personally, but you've even said to me you can't roll in Bill Belichick's world if you don't have skills.
Well, you think about, where he's come up in the coaching ranks. For the most part, he's been in the Patriots organization under Bill Belichick, who's considered probably the greatest coach in NFL history. So just learning from Bill, being a part of that organization, being in the organization, I know he learned a lot. I know he knows what it takes to be a coordinator in the league as well as a head coach in the league. So he has credit just because of the fact that you cannot be in the Patriots organization and be under Bill Belichick for so many years and not know how to be a professional and a great coach.
Yeah, I think Belichick isn't going to keep anyone around that can't offer something, that's for sure.
Right.
Flores says that the NFL is racially segregated. He says this in the lawsuit, and that it's managed like a plantation. Those are strong words, Shawn. Do you think that's a bridge too far? And did you ever feel like that as a black NFL player?
Well, those are very strong words, and when I think about being in the NFL, it's more for me about you try not to think about racism, because typically you and your teammates have a common goal, and that's to make it to the Super Bowl. So you think we're all brothers, and unfortunately, I can see why he's feeling discriminated. Because you don't see a lot of black executives or a lot of black head coaches. You see a lot of minority position coaches. And that's pretty strong. But I can see why people would feel that way about the National Football League.
So let's talk about diversity in the NFL and why it's so important, not just among the players, Shawn, but in the coaching ranks, especially as a head coach. How could the NFL benefit by having more black head coaches?
Well, I think the important thing that we got to continue to remind ourselves about diversity is not just, it's about diverse thinking, just having different perspectives. If you have one population that's dominating a certain position, then you lose sight of there's other people who could be adding or contributing to, like women or minorities who could be contributing to the game of football or to the NFL to make it a better place. And just, we always got to keep in mind that, we're trying to evolve as a country, as people to, just be considerate of everybody who's all involved. You just can't have one team with all black players and have one team with all white players, or just have an organization with just, all white, no minorities or women, and that wouldn't be a good situation, and you need that diverse thinking.
Well, you also mentioned to me that, so many of the black players have played the game, and it would make sense that they would transition into coaching as well. There's a connection between a player and a coach when you've played the game. There's a cultural connection, too, when you've got a black coach and a black player, right?
Well, I think, players who play the game, they understand players, they understand the game. And if you think about the NBA, you look at how many coaches, one come to mind is Doc Rivers, who's and Nate McMillan, who's down in Atlanta, and Doc Rivers, who's in Philadelphia, and, Steve Kerr, who's at Golden State. You think about the success that those guys are having in the NBA, and we have players who played in the NFL, coaches who played in the NFL become great head coaches, but you would think that now we would have more representation of minority players, since 70% of the league is minority, and those guys understand the players. They understand a lot of times, like you said, the culture, the background of some of the players who are playing in the league, and maybe they can relate better, and maybe not only will it lead to being able to relate and have them be better coaches, it might even help with some of the challenges we see on and off the field in the NFL.
Finally, you and I have talked about my alma mater, USC, and how my Trojans taught the famous Alabama coach, Bryant, who we were just looking at a minute ago. Let's bring up those old pictures. The Trojan taught him a lesson about the ability of black football players back in the day. And it seems apropos within this discussion when we were talking about black coaches.
Yeah, that was the time when, Alabama was all white team, and Southern California team came from California. And I think the first game was down in Tuscaloosa, beat them pretty good. And then Bryant took the team back out to California, and he realized that he couldn't compete on a national level just having one group of players, not having any black players represented. USC was pretty fast. And then when you think about, now my alma mater and the Ohio State, when you think about Woody Hayes and what the Big Ten has done, and, the reputation of always having minority and black players in the program, I mean, that's the only way you can compete. You got to be able to have you got to be able to recruit from all demographics to win.
Shawn Springs, I hope to see you become a head coach at some point. I'd love to come see those games.
I'm a head coach now. I'm just a head coach in the business world.
I know you've got your new tech business that's doing well, and I know you diversify there on many levels. Shawn Springs, thank you so much. I appreciate you.
All right, thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.